In the past month, I've found 8 albums that absolutely blew me away, from 70s soul to 90s indie rock and even some modern pop albums that I never would have expected to like. I think some of these are going to surprise you though, so stick around and find out what they are. Music was everything to me growing up, but somehow life got in the way, and for 15 years I barely listened to anything new. Now I'm 40 and I'm diving back in, one song, one album at a time, and sharing that journey with you. Welcome to Hendy Creek. Welcome to Hendy Creek, where I'm rediscovering music after years of being stuck with the same old playlists. Every month I dive into albums that I've never really spent time with before and share the gems here with you. In this video, I've got 8 albums that really just hit me hard this month. Some of them are classic albums that I just happen to have missed my whole life. I've got a couple of deep cuts and a few big surprises. If you're on your own journey to rediscover music, or you just want some fresh recommendations, this one's for you. And if you want an ad-free version of this and all of my other videos, along with weekly recommendations and my #1 overall pick for the month, check the link down in the description to my Patreon page where you can find all that and more. But for now, let's jump into the albums for this month. Alright, first up we've got Paul Simon's 1972 self-titled album, Paul Simon. This album really kind of took me by surprise. I wasn't expecting to really get into this, but the songwriting is just so good. There are some classic songs on here, but I think my favorite is Mother and Son Reunion. It's got that weird, not weird, it's not weird. It's got this, kind of an islandy reggae sort of feel to it coming from Paul Simon. I just really enjoy that song a lot. And this was a song that, as I was listening to it, I knew the song and I recognized the song, but I've never listened to this album before. And it's not really a song that I can pinpoint how I know it. I feel like it's a song that I know from somewhere, but I can't remember where. Not just like, oh, I've heard it on the radio, classic rock stations or, easy listening station, It wasn't anything like that. It was almost like I know it from a movie or something and I can't place it. So if you have any ideas where this song has been used before, I'd love to hear that, because I'm trying to pinpoint how I know this song. But overall, this album is it's fantastic. It's such an awesome blend of so many different styles and genres that come together in a really pretty seamless way. He's just a phenomenal songwriter, and he really, in this album, showed that he has an ability to create music outside of his partnership with Art Garfunkel. I really enjoyed this album. I strongly encourage you to check this one out. Next up is Beck's album, Odelay, and this album was up my alley. It was a collage of sound. It's so hard to pinpoint what exactly this album is. Is it indie rock? Is it alt rock? Is it hip hop? Is it all of the above or none of the above? I don't really know. But this album really just hit me in such a positive way. I really liked the blend of sampled sounds with instrumentation and just wild, almost nonsensical lyrics. I really have no idea, the vast majority of these songs, what he's even talking about, singing about in any of them. It makes no sense, but it makes no sense in a very perfect way. It fits the music. I think the best thing that I would say is that his vocals on this album are just additional texture to the music more than they are, conveying a message or a story. It's just part of the music, and it's phenomenal. Beck is one of those artists that I've always known about. This album came out when I was a kid, and I remember it being around, and I never really gave it much time, but I'm glad to have done that now. I do like the one Beck album that I do have a pretty decent familiarity with is Sea Change, which is very different from this album. It's still really good. I really like Sea Change, but it's not this like 90s Beck that we have here. This album is just wild, and it's fantastic. It's a great headphone album, so if you got a decent pair of headphones, throw this album on and see where it takes you. Third is Marvin Gaye's album, Let's Get It On, and this is, what else can I say? It's Marvin Gaye. He has so much soul and so much passion. I haven't listened to What's Going On in a while. His other he's got a lot of big albums, but Let's Get It On and What's Going On are kind of his two biggest ones. And I really, even though I haven't listened to that in quite a while, I do remember it as having more of a bigger, broader social message. Whereas this album is much more personal. It's much more, I guess, maybe sensual in its kind of just overall tone and feel and themes. And I appreciate that. And I love that he's able to kind of go in those different routes with different albums. This album was a lot of fun to listen to in the sense that I have had a growing fondness for 70s soul and funk and some of those things that would kind of become 80s, 90s, 2000s R&B. I really enjoyed this album. I enjoyed it as kind of an early example of what some more modern music would end up becoming. It's a great one. Again, it wouldn't be on this list. I wouldn't be telling you about this album if I didn't think you should check it out. So I think you should check this one out. Fourth is the M.I.A. album Arular. And this is one that I never would have given much time to if I hadn't really been going out of my way to expand my taste in music. This album is, there's a lot of similarities, I think, sonically between this album and the Beck album, in the sense that both of them, I get the feeling that they are musical collages. They're bringing together so many different elements from so many different styles and types of music and putting them together in their own interesting, unique way and using that as a form of expression in itself, which is just, it's so much fun to listen to. This album is layered and complex in its music and its arrangements, but lyrically, there's a whole lot going on here too. And I think this is what sets it apart for me from the Beck album. This album has a message. It has a very important message. It had an important message when it came out 20 years ago, and it's still an important message today. I really think this is becoming a timeless album. Even though I've only just kind of encountered it, the fact that I can listen to it now in 2025 and it's a 20-year-old album and it still feels fresh and relevant, I think says a lot for this album, and I'm glad to have heard it this month. Number 5 is the Roots album, Things Fall Apart. And one thing that I'm coming to recognize is that I really like hip-hop collectives and hip-hop bands. I don't know why. I don't know what sets them apart from, singular hip-hop artists for me, but having artists that come together as a band or as a collective really, to me, seem to put out things that resonate with me even more. And this album is a great example of that. I mean, they used that to create such a style and vibe and feel that was uniquely their own. This was long before they were the house band of The Tonight Show. They just had so much to say and had just this unmatched coolness and edge and style with it. I love this one. Number 6 is Taylor Swift's album Fearless. This is her second album in her discography, and if you've been following along with my page, you know that I am listening through Taylor Swift's discography in chronological order as kind of a personal project, a way of connecting with my daughter, and a deep dive into her career as somebody who has never really given her much time. And this is such a good album. This is really, honestly, an incredibly good album. I'm very glad to have listened to it. It's one that has me excited to hear the rest of her discography, because the jump in the quality of her songwriting from her debut album to this album, the second album, it was just astronomical. And from everything that I've heard, everything that I understand, it only gets better. And this album really makes me excited to go further with her and see what else she is able to do over the course of her career. Number 7 is the Pavement album, Crooked Rain, Crooked Rain. And as a 90s kid who grew up listening to 90s rock, I can't believe that this album escaped me until just now. I really enjoyed this album a lot, and I'm saying that as a Smashing Pumpkins fan. I just finished a book that was talking about rivalries between artists, musicians in the music industry, and it had an entire chapter about the rivalry between Pavement and the Smashing Pumpkins. And I grew up as a big Smashing Pumpkins fan, but I don't care. This album rocks. I really enjoy it. And even though I'm 30 years behind, this still feels like a cream of the crop rock album from the 90s. absolutely fantastic. And number 8 is the LCD Soundsystem album, The Sound of Silver. So I listened to this album back to back in the same sitting, the same listening session as the Pavement album, and I just love how different they are, but how they both were able to hit something in me that really moved me. This is so much more subtle and layered, but over the course of the album, it builds to be so much. It has such great points of high energy, but can also pull it back in and be reflective at the same time. This is, to me, a fantastic headphone album. I haven't listened to any more LCD Soundsystem since this album. This is the first one that I have listened to. I really liked it, and I really want to check more of their music out when I have time to check more of their music out. It's a fantastic album. I'm so happy to have listened to it. So those are 8 of my 9 favorite albums from this month. And if you want to know the last one, the one that I think was my favorite of the month, you got to go over to my Patreon and find out. Over there, you'll get my top pick of the month along with ad-free versions of these videos, weekly updates, and a whole bunch more. Check the link down in the description and it'll take you right there. In the meantime, I'd love to hear what you think of these albums. Which one of these is your favorite? Leave a comment and let me know. I so appreciate you being here. I appreciate you liking this video, subscribing to the channel. I appreciate you sharing this video with all of your friends who are into music. And until next time, take care.